Welcome to the Harjit Prayer Show with your host, Harjit Prayer.
Hey Harjit, how you doing?
Hey, Prayer. We're back again.
Back again. I'm trying to stay off to the side so that I don't grow alien antenna this time.
Yeah. Hopefully your battery will last this time too.
Oh right.
So it's nighttime, huh?
Yeah, dude. What is it? It's 8:52. And actually the clouds have rolled in,
Yeah.
so that's why it's much darker than it typically is. But it's like 70, 80
It'll,
degrees right now.
it'll be cool if it starts raining behind you. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
there's
Yeah.
been some intense storms.
Yeah.
They're pretty impressive.
But one positive thing is that this show, you don't have those lasers actually directly pointing out of your head.
Yeah, I mean I can go like this.
You could.
There
Yeah.
we go.
So listen,
Yeah.
to our viewers, this is a special episode because this is our 50th episode,
Only
right?
took us, yeah, only took us 3 years.
Well, it took us 3 years, but you know what? Quality over quantity, right?
Sure.
Yeah. We could put like 3 shows a week if we wanted to, but heck,
Absolutely.
why the heck, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, quality. So
Yep.
50th episode is really special, and so listen, we'll get back to this, how we got started and all that fun stuff.
Sounds good.
One of our fans, followers of our show, who will tell me, "Oh, Dad," I let it out of the bag. One of the fans of our show is my daughter, Sabrina Dhaliwal, right? And she studies in Montreal, and she'll tell me, "Hey, I watched your show, and that was really funny what Prayer said, and blah blah blah, and stuff like that." So I figure she's home today, which is good, and it's our 50th episode, and hey, we could get her on the show, and maybe you can have a chat with her or something.
Sure. Hopefully this will not ruin her future career aspirations. Yeah.
All right, so this is Sabrina.
Hey Sabrina, how are you doing?
Hello.
Why are you home?
We're going camping tomorrow.
Harjit's gonna
Well,
go camping?
It's not camping. We call
There's-
it because vacation. Hold on. Why didn't you sit here?
There's no way Harjit would go camping, please.
No,
Camping.
we call it camping, but it's not camping. Because the reason why it started with the term camping is because years ago we used to go and rent one of those cabins in the provincial park of Quebec, and there's no electricity.
Provincial, yeah.
Yeah. they have like gas powered lights and things like that, right? So we call it camping. So, but now we've progressed to chalets and,
Now, the reason we had to progress is because there was no Wi-Fi or electricity in
That's
the
right.
other one.
I was wondering about that.
Once we got Wi-Fi, it's no longer camping.
Well, you weren't camping before. The proper term is glamping. You know that? No, I'm serious. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Glamping. So anyway, Sabrina, I have some questions for you.
Yes.
First of all, you're going to school in Canada. That's not
Yes.
That's not the United States. So what brought you up there?
Money. It's cheap.
Okay. For
It's
real?
$4,000 a year.
To go, wow. And is this like a 4-year school, 2-year school?
4-year school.
That's awesome. And what are you studying?
I'm studying economics at McGill.
McGill. And
Yes.
when you started school at McGill and you wanted to major in economics and you have your degree in 4 years, what did you want to do with it?
I want to go into business consulting.
And what does that mean?
Essentially, firms will hire consulting firms to solve their problems for them.
Okay.
These like 3-month projects, and it's really anything that you want to do. So in terms of how you start out, you usually start out as a generalist for 2 years, and then you sort of center in on a particular field that you're interested in. So
Oh, interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
So you're probably rounding that point right now where you have to decide, or have you decided?
no, when you get hired by the firm, you start as a generalist for 2 years.
Oh, got it.
2 years in the firm, yeah.
Got it. So does this involve a lot of math and like historical stuff, like what companies did, what governments did, stuff like that, and how to improve how
Yeah.
money flows and stuff like that?
I've done a few case interviews, and it's definitely math heavy, but it's significantly financial and economics heavy. I don't understand how people who are not financially well read would be able to pass these case interviews, but
Gotcha. That sounds really interesting. Okay, and what do you do for fun while you're there?
Montreal, I play music, I play guitar, I like to read, and I live with my cousin in Montreal, so we hang out a
Oh,
lot.
sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So, and obviously, a lot of college students now, they have to work on the side just to kind of have some extra money. And Harjit's really cheap, so I can only imagine you must be starving and stuff up
Hey.
there. So, yeah. So, what do you do for work while you're going to school?
You mentioned it in like the third episode of your show, but I work for the Canadian Coast Guard. I've been working for the past 2 years.
Yeah, you know, when I found that out, it blew my mind that Canada was allowed to have boats. And then I don't know if you or Harjit mentioned it, but I found the Instagram for the Coast Guard, and I'm like, this is cool. Like they had one picture the other day of like, hey, we hardly ever get to have a shot like this of one of the vessels in our fleet. They call them vessels.
Yes.
And it was like up on the dock, and you could see the turbines and stuff like that. Not the turbines, whatever those things are called. So anyway, that's what propellers. There you go.
Yes.
Look at that, Harjit.
I've been to ships. They're really big and they're really cool.
I bet.
Yeah.
Do they have canoes too? Kayaks.
No canoes.
Okay.
They
And
have zodiacs and hovercrafts though. So.
are you serious?
Yeah, serious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hovercraft. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what do you do for them?
I'm a financial analyst.
No way. In
Yeah.
college. Holy cow, that is so cool.
An economic student in finance. Yeah, no. So essentially, I help clients manage their budgets and tell them how much they've been spending, and essentially prepare dashboards and reports to send to the commissioner to tell them how much in debt we are every year. Yep.
How much does a hammer cost?
Oh man, I do not know.
Okay.
That's
So
not
are you
technology?
okay, fine. And is this like a part-time gig, or are you there like a good part of the week as well as studying?
Yeah, I work 20 hours during the school year and full-time during the summer.
Oh, snap. That's a lot. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I hope they're treating you well.
Yeah.
Any interesting perks that are unique to the job that you're allowed to tell us?
I have my own beanbag in my
Real?
cubicle. Yeah,
That's cool.
it's pretty
Wow.
awesome.
Canada has cubicles? That blows my mind too.
Yeah, we have
So-
to.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Canada sounds pretty neat. That's
Yeah,
why
it
Harjit
is.
liked it so much.
Yeah.
Okay. So, cool. And I remember Harjit saying that you actually have gotten to work with some of the technology there.
Yes.
And so you want to talk about that a bit? Like there was actually a problem that you had to solve, and you found something that worked.
Yeah, when I first started, I started in August 2017, and the finance team that I started on was only half staffed at the time. So not only was I hired as a student, but my boss kind of said, we need to figure out ways to, cut our workload in half and save time in some of the areas. So one of the things that they were doing was manually creating Excel reports and
Okay.
graphs every 2 days, and it took hours and hours. And I became aware of Power BI, I think through my dad. I trained on it during work hours. I became certified in Power BI, and I developed these self-automating dashboards for my work, for my team.
What?
Yeah. So they're connected to a database in Azure, and they self-update, and so.
Is that pretty cool? That's
Dude,
pretty.
you never said anything like that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so at the time I was one of 5 people who was actually certified in Power BI in the Canadian government, so
That is wild.
yeah.
So obviously you're using Canadian data centers, right? Because it's Canada.
Yeah, no, we created our own database. We had to.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Data storage.
Awesome. That's awesome. Anything else that has happened with technology while you've been there that you've kind of oh, I never expected to learn this while I was here?
Well, feel like most of the things that we've modernized in the Coast Guard have sort of come from me pushing for it. So introducing OneNote, which doesn't seem that, intriguing, but it was certainly a modern push for the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
SharePoint, we started pushing that. And we're going into SAP soon because we were using these really outdated financial systems. Just pushing a lot of things towards the cloud and making stuff self-updating. Yeah.
That is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I had no idea. I just heard bits and pieces.
Templates with the colors and all that stuff that your boss wanted, and
oh yeah, I mean, over the past 2 years I've been teaching myself how to code. So obviously started out with HTML, CSS, and then started going towards Java and Python because Power BI allows you to create your own custom visuals using code. So I started teaching myself how to do that because I needed to know how to use DAX and HTML, I think, to create custom visuals for clients in the Coast Guard.
Okay.
She knows more than me. I don't even know that stuff she's talking about.
Okay, so you're obviously a girl working in Canada for a government agency, and you're also in IT. So that's a very unique, and you're in college.
Yeah.
So I think this is a very unique situation that you're in. And what would you want to tell other women that are out there that are kind of like in your same boat? Like, what do I do different in my job that can kind of make me stand out? Because obviously you've earned with hard work the respect of your peers there,
Yes.
So what would you want to tell them?
I mean, I think you have to be annoying. That's sort of really simple, but as a student, as a woman, as the youngest person in my office, I'm still the youngest person in my office, people really didn't take me seriously at first, and change management is such a huge leap to take, so you really have to be annoying and back up all of your suggestions with research and with feedback and be really logical. I think it's sort of pushing all of your ideas in a really client-friendly way and making sure that people never stop forgetting about you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Not annoying, persistent.
Yes, I suppose.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's cool. Well, I have some additional questions for you really quick. Here we go. And this is testing your knowledge of Canada.
Okay.
All right. Where did it go? Okay. So, what are the first two words in the national anthem, and you have to sing them?
Oh, Canada.
Oh, that's very good. Excellent. What's the capital of Canada?
Ottawa.
Nope, it's C.
What?
C. The capital of the word Canada is C.
Oh, okay.
What is the Canada Act?
What is the Canada Act?
Yeah.
I don't think I understand this question.
So that was a bill introduced, I think, in the early 80s that basically completely separated the Canadian government from British Parliament, because prior to that, kind of like informally, the British Parliament had the ultimate say on the Canadian Constitution.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you, Wikipedia, if it's true. It could be fake. I have no idea. All right, here's an
Canadian.
What do people do for fun in Canada?
Hockey night in Canada.
Hockey night.
Yeah.
That sport terrifies me. No, for real. Like, people can get really hurt badly.
It's so much fun.
Oh, no way. I'm glad you all like it. What is the URL for the official website of Canada?
Canada.ca.
Oh, impressive. Where was Anne Shirley born?
I do not know who Anne Shirley is. I'm sorry.
Anne of Green Gables?
Nope.
Oh, that's in Nova Scotia? Newfoundland.
Harjit, how do you know that?
Because my mom loves that show.
Oh my gosh. That's... Harjit, you surprise me every time. Well, that's all I had. Do you have any questions for us?
Do I have any questions for you?
Do you have any suggestions?
Do I have
any
any
feedback?
suggestions?
Be good, be nice.
Does your video continue syncing with your voice now?
Oh, yes.
Because that wasn't a thing for a while.
Oh, that was, we're like professionals now.
Ah, I
Yeah.
see.
We're professionals.
Whatever.
Yeah. We
As I
use Teams to record, so we're professionals.
Look at these professionals, guys.
Yeah. We don't get guests and stuff coming on a show like this. This is,
Look at these
does-
professionals.
You don't have that in amateurs.
Yeah, they know who Anne Shirley is. Watch out for them.
I can't stand Anne of Green Gables, but my wife's family is so into it. It's like I don't want to know these characters, but they're stuck in my head. So
See,
anyway.
the thing is, I live in Quebec, so you have to like use specifically Quebec questions. We're kind of separate.
It's all the same to me.
Oh, no. You can't say that to a Quebecer. It doesn't work.
It's like a cheeseburger. It's like you can get that anywhere. It's not any particular part of the States. It's all a blur to me.
Yeah.
The whole. But no, I have a lot of respect for Canada. I have some good friends that live there, and I think it's a beautiful country. And I think there's a lot of potential there with all the young people that are taking pride in their country, in the land, in the environment. So I'm very hopeful, that it's going to be an amazing example for the rest of the world. So holy cow, that was awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
No, but it's honest. It's like you read some of the news coming out of there, like, man, they're getting this right. So, there's flaws, of course, but
yeah. All right. Thanks for being on the show. We love you.
See you later. See you,
Bye.
Sabrina.
Bye.
All right. So now we know about women in IT. And technically, she doesn't study IT in school.
I know, that's crazy.
But she's doing IT stuff and doing it on her own and learning it on her own. And she's been persistent. So the SharePoint thing, it came from me actually, because she started asking me one day, Dad, there must be a better way, because these guys are sharing Excel files, and when one person has it open, the other person can do anything with it. We gotta wait till somebody else closes it and things like that. I'm like, well, you must have SharePoint. She said, what is that? So I, told her about it and stuff like that. I said, I'm sure you guys have it. I'm sure. Check in Ottawa, the main division and stuff like that. And sure enough, she started researching. Oh yeah, they do have a SharePoint environment. The IT guys didn't even know about it.
No way.
Yeah, the IT
Wow.
guys, the central IT guys didn't know about SharePoint, that it existed. And as she found it and sent it to them and say, okay, who owns this? How do I get access to it and stuff like that? And she found the manager, the owner, and then started, and then went to her
That's pretty cool.
directors.
Mhm.
And at first they were like, oh, no, we don't need this. And so she went back again with facts and, and they're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. So,
Right.
yeah.
You
And-
got to be pushy. I mean, if you want to, I mean, like, I don't know how to describe it well, but it's very difficult. Like, technology is a scary thing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's this black box, and it's like when it gets in the news, it's not often like, oh, look at this cool thing that this person did. It's always like, this thing was hacked and this thing was hacked and we lost this and we lost that, and so people are very edgy on that. And so I think all of us just need to be persistent, provide facts and good data, be able to demonstrate it. I know guys that, they work 40 hours a week on their job, but then they work an extra 3 or 4 hours a day building the next thing, like a template of it, and like showing their boss, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
If we can do this, it will save us X number of dollars a year. This is what it will cost. Here's the recoup. Like, it's just not like, hey, this thing was out, let's install it.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta
I do something similar too. I spend a lot of time in the evenings and poking around, trying to learn something new, something that came out that I found out during the day, things like that. And then in your test labs and just like, okay, let's just play with this. Let's see what it is and what you can do and stuff,
Yep, definitely.
That's the only way you're gonna learn.
Absolutely.
So anyways, back to our 50th episode. So how did we get started? I mean, I still remember the day that I gave you a call and I was at a local car show It was a summer day. It was a local car show, probably around, I think it was in an early August timeframe, and and we started this 3 years ago.
Hmm.
And our first episode we uploaded it on August 23rd, 2016. It's, pretty weird, pretty interesting. Um, but anyway, so we were talking about it because the it was during the whole Ignite conference thing. It was kind of new at that time with the Chicago stuff, and then they had the whole the
There was a
countdown.
lull, right? It happened in Chicago, but then a
Right.
year and a half later, it was going to be in Orlando, and so it was
Yeah,
like,
and people were asking like, okay, hey, is there any information, anything here, and blah blah. And then you started doing something on, I think it was I can't remember, was it on
it was on
WhatsApp?
WhatsApp. Yep.
Yeah, and things like that. And it's like everybody's like, hey, okay, Prayer, what's your next one? What's your next one? And so then we came up with this idea, and we went with the, hey, we're two Indian IT guys. We have Indian backgrounds.
Hmm.
It's almost like the stereotypical, right?
Sure.
Indians and IT being Indians and things like that. And we're like, hey, let's play with that. Let's go with that.
Hmm.
And here we are today, right? Yeah. So now everybody reflect back, you're like, oh my God, our first show was like weird. Like we didn't even know what to do.
Yeah, that took a couple takes,
Oh my
or like,
God.
and then delete them forever. Like
I
nobody ever
remember,
needs to see that.
yeah, I remember going down to the basement. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Okay, oh, is the background okay? And very poor cameras and things like that. Well, we made it work.
Yep. I remember like we had to like pause it because my twins woke up and my wife wasn't home, and so I had to like, hey, stop, run up, help them out, and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
Uh,
yeah,
all sorts of things like that. And we had shows where we were recording where our mouths did not jive with the audio. We were a few
yes,
seconds apart. We are like, heck with it. We're just gonna do it.
yeah. It was like you said, quality over quantity, or maybe
Yeah.
not either of them for a while.
Anyway, so yeah,
Yeah.
so hey, to all our followers, thanks for staying with us and watching us and giving us feedback and stuff. And we've interviewed some IT pros, in the early stages, and I think we will do that um, in the future as well. And I did line up a special guest who's known in the industry, and she is willing to join us, and that will be really, really super cool. So
Neat.
uh,
Awesome.
I'll just give her initials MJF. So that's that's it. So,
Cool.
anyways, what were we gonna talk about? Oh yeah. So, did you wanna you were gonna mention something about you got some newsworthy stuff, right?
Yeah. So I was just the other day I was just going through the news, and everybody knows Equifax had this huge breach where a ton of very sensitive customer information was leaked, enough to compromise people's identities and affect their credit and stuff like that. So the Federal Trade Commission of the United States, uh, went after them, and Equifax settled.
You're right.
And so there's a humongous amount of money that they're paying as, like, basically if they've put it into a bucket to help people that were affected by this. But there's
Right.
this big bucket, then there's a smaller bucket where, if you you didn't get hacked or anything like that, but you were to prevent yourself from being your identity stolen or credit hacked and all that kind of stuff. If you bought identity monitoring or stuff like that, they've basically said, hey, you have two options. You can sign up to get $125, or you can sign up, we'll give you credit monitoring for 4 years.
Okay.
And so they announced this, and so many people, because you don't provide any like information to get the 125, right?
Okay.
So a ton of people went after that amount of money, and so the next day they're like, FTC's like, yo, well, there's a lot of people that have requested this, and if it goes at this rate, it's the 125 is the max. In reality, if this trend continues, not it's not going to be $125. It's going to be a smaller amount. We expected that people would have wanted the free credit monitoring for, I think,
I
4
see.
years, because it's more of a value
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, people wanted the money, so they have a second blog post like, hey, it's in your best interest to go for the free credit monitoring, which makes sense. What I find hilarious about this is Equifax was the one breached, and guess who's providing the credit monitoring service? Right? Right? And so
Oh my God.
what's funnier than that is people were allowed to comment on this government website post,
Okay.
and they are hilarious.
Oh yeah.
So like people are just asking the same question over and over, and this poor person just keeps replying like, this website, go to this website, and they keeps posting the URL. Like in one reply, she posted it 3 times.
Oh,
Like,
oh yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah. I see
but
it.
like you keep going down, it's like read the article and you know where to go. But I guess people aren't reading it. There's one instance where someone's like, hey, you posted an invalid email address, and they're like, what, this email? Yeah, that's not the right email. Oh yeah, they forgot the .com or the .gov on the end of it. Some of them are super hilarious, and some of them are pretty sad. Like
Oh my
some of
God.
the posts, it's like, oh man, I feel really bad for you. But let me see. There was yesterday when I first saw this, there was one page. Now there is. Oh, there's only 2. Sorry. So there hasn't been that much. Maybe I don't know if they might have closed it or like scaled it down or something like that. But people are so mad, and it's amazing to read through this. Like now, I know some people that not through this one, but their identity has been stolen, and it sucks. Like the
Oh
stuff
yeah.
that you
Oh,
have
yeah.
to go through. So I feel for people that have to experience that. But boy, oh boy, I think this could have been handled.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like the information could have been disseminated in a better way.
You punt people back to the company that actually had the problem.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, like or it's a huge amount of money, but it's like, but what are you doing to really punish them?
Right.
Because this is it's $575 million as part of the settlement with
Wow.
the FTC. Um,
Hey, but that's
but-
small change compared to what Facebook got fined. I think it was it by the FTC as well, or another government entity. I think it's like 2 billion. No, 4 billion.
no way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just recently, and not only that, they're putting some stipulations to Mark Zuckerberg that now he has to give them reports on every 3 months or something like that about the the whole privacy stuff and what they're doing and what they have now and things like that. And he's personally liable for it, apparently.
Interesting.
So yeah, and it's several billion.
Yeah, it's we need to do better.
Yeah.
I think, there's been a lot of I don't have all the facts yet, just reading snippets of these articles and stuff like that, but like company A is recording all the conversations from their home device, and company B is recording all the conversations and sending it to third-party analyzers and stuff like that. Company C is sharing video with the police.
Yes.
And stuff like, it's like, holy cow. Like,
yeah, speaking of the sharing video, it's the ring camera, the door.
I wasn't going to say the company, but okay.
Well, it's out there, but I don't know how true it is, but I just read a few quick blurbs of it that that's something that's happening. Well, who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
We're using Androids and iPhones and things like that, and where is that data going, and who's getting it, and who's paying for it, and
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, you and I were chatting on Slack or something. And
Yeah.
I was asking you some photography questions. And on my Instagram feed, sponsored ads about photography stuff. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a free service, I get it, but I am really careful about trying to isolate things. And I'm like, how did this one get through? On my
It's,
computer, talking to you on Slack, it
I
shows up in
know,
my.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
anyway.
Well, they talked about even like Alexa and stuff like that, and Google has their own thing too, where it's always listening. It's always listening, and it's something about like it's recording like a few seconds before you even ask for something because it needs to be.
Sure, it's
Yeah,
listening.
it's listening. Yeah, it's stuff like that. So I don't know. It's it's a new world.
Yes, it is.
Your
Definitely.
car is listening to you, your phones and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen. So we decided just today that we're going to do something new going forward with our shows.
Mhm.
So we talked about we want to get a bigger reach and probably provide more value to our listeners and viewers or whatever you want to call them. Um, so we're going to start a podcast series, right?
Yep.
So did you want to explain more about that, or do you want to?
Sure. Just it boggles my mind that there's that many people. I mean, in comparatively speaking to the big YouTubers and stuff, we don't get a lot of hits, but
Right.
still, it's like, wow, why did that get over 100 views? And so that's somebody on a computer, either in the background listening or watching or something like that. And so we thought, like, hey, if we put this in an audio only format, then you can listen to it in the car.
Yeah.
You can listen to it while cooking or whatever.
Right.
And maybe it will be helpful to more people that way. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. And I think what we'll do is we'll do more frequent podcasts,
Right.
maybe a weekly series. We'll share things that happened that particular week, like what's going on that week, compared to what we do on the videos. But hey,
Sure.
this is the latest news this week. This is what's happening. Maybe the Equifax or whatever. And then we'll also do the shows. Every now and then, maybe twice a month or something like that. And we'll also try to convert our video shows to audio only.
Right.
We'll give that option as well. So I think it'll be a good thing. So yeah, we'll
Cool.
find a home and we'll put it out there and let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So in the meantime, if anybody has suggestions on how and what and we need to do and should do and just hit us up. We're nice guys.
Yep, I think so.
We're open. We're open for suggestions. We're open for ideas.
I love suggestions.
Yeah. So as you heard, Sabrina said we're doing camping. I'm gone as of tomorrow for a week. That's not gonna stop me from being online. I'm an addict, so I'll be reachable one way or another.
From your chalet.
My chalet, yeah,
From your provincial chalet.
provincial chalet, right? And yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Food wise and stuff like that, and usually the extended family comes along, and then we start planning. Okay, who's doing breakfast on these days, and who's doing dinners, and so it's all planned, right? So we got several adults, and everybody shares the meals.
Cool.
Hey, I'll do dinner on Sunday and Tuesday, and then somebody else does Saturday and whatever, and then
Nice.
somebody else will say, hey, we're gonna do the breakfasts. So everybody's covered. So that way that whoever is responsible for the meals buys the ingredients and supplies the stuff.
Nice.
So it comes out fair. So yeah, oftentimes I actually go out and get my own because I kind of miss my Asian food.
Mhm.
So I go out and try to buy like Asian TV dinners or go to a local Chinese restaurant or
Oh my gosh.
try to find an Indian place or something like that, and takeouts and stuff. Yeah,
Go to Trader Joe's and get those
yeah.
Indian
Those are cheap and good. Yeah,
yeah.
Trader Joe's. Yeah, you got me hooked on those.
Every day, man, for lunch.
See,
Oh,
they're like
so-
less than $3,
Yep.
something like that, and they, it's amazing the price difference too, because I'll buy something similar from the regular grocery stores, and they're like $5.
Right.
You're like, what?
Mhm. Yeah, it's funny. Like some people are like, "Oh, that's not a lot of food." I'm like, "This is the right amount of food you should have for
That's
lunch."
right. That's right.
Like you see the Hungry Man giant, and I'm guilty of eating them a long time ago, not anymore. But it's like that's a
I know,
lot
right?
of food. Like you're gonna be in a food coma after that.
Right.
So that's probably why the Trader Joe's stuff is less expensive. Is it's less than a typical ginormous
Yeah.
TV dinner, but more than the chintzy TV dinners that you get for like $1. It's
Oh, yeah.
I hate to call it a TV dinner. It's a microwavable prepared meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. It's good.
All right. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the guy's like, you must really like these because he sees me every week, and I buy like 7 of the, oh my gosh, paneer tikka masala at a time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
7 of them, and he's like, are these good? I'm like, they are amazing.
Yes.
They're really
Yes,
good.
yeah, amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I would actually go, sometimes just, at lunchtime we have a Trader Joe's where I live, and I'll go out and I'll start, okay, yeah, I want this, but wait, the refrigerator at work the freezer is really, really tiny, it's small.
Oh no.
How many can I fit in there? Like.
I bring one every day to work. That's all I do.
Yeah.
In my Ignite backpack from last year that has the insulated pocket.
Oh, that works, really?
Yeah, and there's been a few days that I forgot to put it in the freezer at work when I got there.
Okay.
And it's still frozen at lunch.
No kidding.
Yep. So I'm like, okay, this thing's working. Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that. I should do that. Yeah, I've got a bag or 2 somewhere. So, all right, that's good. So, anything else going on? Anything else we need to share?
Nope. I think that's it.
Okay. Anything technology-wise that we know about? Anything new this week?
I think everybody is on vacation because I haven't seen much. I mean, there's like a couple of Windows client builds that are rolling through the rings and stuff like that, but I didn't see anything too interesting. One thing that I thought, not Microsoft related, was that Apple had posted their financials, and every area of their business grew except the iPhone, which I thought was interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yep. And
good share of iPhones has gone down. I did hear that.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But their wearable stuff is going nuts.
Yeah, the wearables are going, like crazy. Yeah. So one thing before we end, I want to give a shout out to my friend Sandy from Finland. She's a config manager, admin. She's she's an MVP. She's amazing. She's originally from China, moved to Finland for work or something like that, and now settled there with a family and all that stuff. I was having some problems with my HyperV setup on my Lenovo P1. It was fine. It was working fine on my HP and stuff. So I was trying to move everything over to my Lenovo and set up my lab and everything like that. And the thing that I was having issues with was the networking in Hyper-V. And I set up the internal and the external and the private, all that stuff. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And then when I launched a VM, it would be fine, but then my host could not connect to the internet. Like it took away networking from my internet. I'm like, what's going on here? And it was just I just went into circles, and I read a lot of blogs, and I undid everything, and they said, oh yeah, redo it again, and kill your switches and start again and do this, and none of that worked. What ended up happening? So I contacted Sandy because she has the same laptop, and she told me, she says, oh yeah, I had the same problem. I said, what do you do? Well, it came down to driver, the network driver. It only affected the Lenovo's for some reason. The P1s is a particular NIC card that it had. So fine, I downloaded that stuff and installed it and everything like that, and then things got better. But now I needed a way to actually properly configure the switches, because if you don't know the whole networking piece of Hyper-V, it can be complicated.
Sure.
Yeah, what's internal, what external? Yeah. So anyway, so she did a remote session with me from Finland through Teams
Nice.
over the weekend, and yep, this is what my setup is, and okay, yeah, do this and do that, and now now it's working really, really good. So thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. You were gonna say something about Hyper-V?
The networking is definitely very different than how VMware approaches networking.
It's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, some people will just say, "Oh, it's better," blah 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, but like, I came into Hyper-V first,
Okay.
and then after experiencing how ESX did everything, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much more simpler.
Yeah.
And it's the networking, how you have to think about the networking in Hyper-V is kind of hasn't changed much. So yeah, it gets things get weird for sure.
Yeah. I came from the other way around. Hyper-V was much later for me, so it was like a big struggle because things were simpler on the VMware side.
Yep.
Especially VMware workstation and stuff, just so simple.
Gotcha.
But I just paying for it, all the time, and yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was running Microsoft Virtual Server on Windows 2003.
Okay.
So it was like, and everybody was talking ESX. At the school I worked for at the time, we couldn't afford it. But then VMware negotiated with the state of New York to be on their contract, and once that happened, it became really inexpensive. And of course, Hyper-V was still free and everything, but the amount of time I saved and the number of VMs that I could run on ESX 4.0 at the time was more than you could do with Hyper-V.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yep. So, but I'm long out of that game.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's really awesome to have your IT pro community, no matter where you are today, anywhere in the world. And when you have the connections, when you have the friends, and when you have the relationships, and you know the right people to tap into, and they help you, and they can, it's just a matter of a click away, and they're connected, and it's unlike back in the day, right? So this is why it's fun to go to conferences and do the whole networking piece, because you build these relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's really awesome. So we do that ourselves between us and a few of our good friends, and one of them is having a second baby. So
yeah, that was news. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah, new jobs and and all that stuff too. Some of them have got some new jobs, so that's good stuff, guys. So anyways, I think we should end it, and we'll get together again soon. So
awesome.
Yeah, and we'll call it. So thanks for watching, guys, and my name is Harjit. You'll find me on Twitter as @Hooch. H-O-R-Z-E.
Oh, you gotta pick a different. Oh, anyway.
I know you hate it, but I'm stuck with it.
No, you're not. You can change it.
I can change it. Yeah. I'll try.
It's you be you, dude. You be you. And I'm Prayer. You can find me on Twitter @the IT Jedi.
All right. Cheers, guys.
See ya.
Fork.